In a way, she's always been there. Maybe you're like me, or my aunt. Perhaps you met her when you were just a kid while you were in the throes of sleep paralysis. You'd find yourself asleep and then, suddenly, you'd see this thing that looked like an old woman with a heavily wrinkled face, a long pointed nose, long crooked fingers that end in wicked claws instead of human fingernails, and a horrific cackle that chills you to the bone. She would either stand at the foot of your bed, knock from outside your window, or would be sitting on your chest while she held fast to your neck. Hi, hello, and welcome again everybody to another episode of Natural Juan. This time around we're going to discuss the mysterious and horrifying Night Hag, often mentioned in mythology and folklore all around the world. Before all that though, I'd like to invite you all to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications for more content like this. Special shout out too to Mr. Jonathan Green, my patron in Patreon. If you would also like to support my channel and what I do here, please check out the description below where you'll find information on my Patreon, PayPal, and Gcash. Alright, now with all that out of the way, let's take a walk into the world of dreams and get to meet the Night Hag. One of the most curious things, I think, is how people from various parts of the world often have similar legends and folklore, despite the vast distances between them. It has always struck me as odd that one culture might have a creature that is surprisingly a lot like a creature in another. Examples I would mention are the shape-shifting monsters like the werewolves of Europe, which bear some similarity to the skinwalkers of Native American folklore, and the aswangs of Philippine mythology. Others that I could mention is that of mermaids, or simply people who are able to live and breathe underwater. Then there's stories of dragons, which, again, can be found in almost every corner of the world and have a kind of representation in every culture, from the Hydra of Greek mythology, the feathered serpents of the Aztecs, and the chaotic monster Apophis or Apep of the ancient Egyptians. American horror writer H.P. Lovecraft found this to be one of the scarier things in the world, and that it is a comfort that not everyone can piece together these coincidences. I, on the other hand, think that this might actually be a wonderful thing, and is a sure sign that, on a certain level, we are somehow connected. The Night Hag has also been associated with incubi and succubi in more recent years, since all three have had a habit of appearing in people's dreams. That said, the latter two often involve encounters that are more sexual in nature, though the Night Hag's attacks can also be intimate in a sense, and can overlap somewhat with the other two dream intruders. Anyway, the Night Hag is a being that appears not just in one culture but many. In many East Asian countries like my homeland of the Philippines, the Night Hag takes on the form of a skinny woman with frazzled black hair that covers her face and attacks people with claw-like hands. In the West, images of the Night Hag appear to be a decrepit old woman with, again, wrinkled features and hands whose touch can induce a paralyzing fear. In places like Norway and Sweden, the Night Hag is also capable of changing shape, usually a horse, and forces people to ride on them and take them through a forest of fear. African folklore attributes similar shifting properties to their own dream crones, being able to take the form of laughing and jeering hyenas. The list goes on. One of the most curious of Night Hag legends, though, is that of the Dab Cho, meaning nightmare spirit, which comes from the stories and folklore of the Hmong people. In fact, many cases of sleep paralysis and sudden death during sleep the Hmong people suffer is attributed to the Dab Cho. This is what would eventually go on to inspire director Wes Craven to create the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise when he heard about and researched the mysterious deaths the Hmong people in America experienced. Almost always, though, the Night Hag appears to dreamers when they are in the throes of sleep paralysis. Sometimes, she is seen from the corner of one's eye, staring at the dreamer menacingly, with eyes that can vary wildly from dreamer to dreamer. Other times, she stands closer to the dreamer, towering above them while still staring intently at them. Then there are those times when the Night Hag mounts her victims and begins choking them to death, causing the dreamer to cry out in horror, even though the only noises they're often able to make is groaning noises that some might even mistake for snoring. In any case, People who find themselves being assailed by the night hag often lose track of time, as is common with anything related to sleep paralysis. To the casual observer, the person might just be struggling there for all of a few seconds, and rarely lasting more than a minute or two. To the actual victim, though, they could have been struggling there for hours or more, desperately trying to breathe while the monstrous woman tries to take their lives. The night hag can be fought off the same way one can free themselves from sleep paralysis, or so it is often said. Wiggle your toe or flex your pinky, and the night hag will disappear along with the sleep paralysis. It is also said that praying or speaking the name of God can drive away the night hag. Some people and cultures go as far as believing the night hag to be some sort of vampire and hang garlic, dream catchers, and other folk remedies to keep her away. So just what or who is the night hag? Why does she appear the same in just about every culture all over the world? And why must she appear so unattractive when, like a succubus or incubus, she could probably take on a more appealing form? Scientists have a theory on that. Some of them claim that the night hag is a manifestation of the smother archetype, or the mother who smothers her own children with her concern and kindness, but is too controlling to let the latter live healthy lives of their own. Psychologists believe that this innate fear of a malevolent mother figure is what gave rise to the concept of the night hag and why it is so widespread. The other explanation is that the night hag represents our inner fear of frailty brought about by old age. After all, women of a certain age aren't known for being very healthy or strong. There are many more theories about the night hag and her true nature, though these often stray into supernatural or even religious explanations. There are more modern and scientific ways to counter visits from the night hag along with sleep paralysis as well. This often comes in the form of medication or therapy, as another theory posits that the night hag might just be a manifestation of bottled-up fear and anxiety. So far, modern approaches have proven effective, according to research, and as more study is put into topics such as sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming, more and more mysteries regarding the nature of dreams can be discovered. As for what I think, well, I kind of buy into both theories that the night hag might be a combination of both our innate fear of growing old and weak and being controlled and harmed by an evil mother figure. Being a believer of the supernatural, I also think she could be some kind of demon that stalks people in their sleep, but I don't really feel like going into that right now. I have encountered her many times during my sleeping hours, as have a number of my good relatives over the years. Her visits were especially frequent after the death of my mother, and there were times when she would come on a nightly basis to torment me, and sometimes even disguised herself as my mother to lure me into a trap. I have a theory of my own, though, that the night hag might just be another form taken on by the mysterious and often malevolent shadow people. But that will be a discussion that I'll talk about on another day. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Natural Juan, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. Also, if you would like to support my channel and what I do here, you'll find my Patreon, PayPal, and Gcash information in the description below. Natural Juan, out.